Okay, so as you can see, we're going to go over half step. I haven't done this one yet, so I figured we should do it. My buddy Adam has his Jerry licks going with Chris, transcribing all that stuff. So we're trying to link up on doing the same version at the same time so we can kind of get the Bobby and the Jerry stuff out together. So if you got time, check out Dedicated Jams. Tons of great videos on there on the Jerry stuff. So this is going to be the Bobby stuff on it. And this is the Without a Net 1990. Really good one. Bobby does tons of licks in this one that are obscure. So it starts out in that little, when Jerry goes. So the concept is walking that 8, 7, 8, major 7, 7, 6. Bob's just doing it up here. This A right here. Walking down your B string. So these two stay the same the entire time, and you're just walking down. So that's the beginning part right there. So all these different intros into the verse are different. This certain one for the intro, and this one is so when you go after that, and you go D, and then you're gonna be doing D7. So you're gonna slide. It's kind of like C, but you're not doing the full C. You're kind of just sliding into the E note on the A string, and then with your index finger hitting the G string on the 5th. Emphasize that 7 note in D. And then you go to G. But instead of doing this G, you're going to be doing this G. You're going to be doing that G throughout the song, but for this certain intro in this one, he goes to this one, and he walks down chromatically on the G string. And then when you hit this on the major 3rd on the C in the verse, when you hit that, you want to be hitting the full C chord. So it's kind of like a D7 G. So walk down, and then when you hit this note, you want to hit the C with it. Now you're in the verse. So let's do that intro all together. Verse is C, E, it's E7, but he's just doing. From the D string, hammer on from the 7th to the 9th. So hit the top, these two, hammer on, and then hit the next octave on the 9th. So C. Trick he does right there. So after that E, just go up to the F right above it. Make sure you hit that B string. This little A minor after that F, so F, and then A minor. When you go to A minor, you do this A minor, walk up. So on the D when I was born, Daddy sat down in the ground. And then you're gonna switch to this F right here because you're going from this. Kind of sets you up for this F. C shape F at the 8th. F, C, G, this C right here. index finger on the 7th on the A, and then you're barring your ring finger on the 7th on the A, and then your index finger is barring the 5th, the D and the G, and then your pinky is on the 8th. So five variation for the C, emphasizing that pinky note. And then you're just gonna hammer on to go to the G. Take your ring finger off the A string and hammer it onto the G string, same fret. C, G, this G, this is G, this is C, this is G. So it's just this one finger movement. This finger's droning the entire time. So, have them all just as plain as day. Those two real quick. So you do the same little on the D7. Could not be denied G. And then for the G, he kind of does this. Slides in from the 7th to the 9th on the D, and then hit the G string on the 7th for the G, because this is just this note of the G and this note of the G. But he kind of slithers into it from the. Could even hit this note first, and then just hammer it on instead of sliding into it, you know? Kind of, so he goes through the same chords, but the riffs that he does are different. He just emphasizes different stuff. Because after that, could not be denied. Jerry's repeating the chords again from the C. But Bob's riffs are going to be different throughout the whole song each time they go around it. So that was the first way of doing it. So let's go through that first way with the intro one more time, just fully through, and then we'll start from the next part. He puts this, he emphasizes the 5 on this one now, instead of like he did last time. He just for the E. He just did that last time. This time it's same C, and then the E is, sorry. He goes up to this. I'm not exactly sure how he gets up to it. Let's see how he does that. Kind of just, now he's in this inversion of E. So hammer on the A, on the A string, 9 to 11, because you're in this inversion of E. I'm sure you're gonna go. Kind of like really just coloring the chord, not just playing it fully through, you know. He could just, but he doesn't. He kind of just, you know, it's kind of like really just slithering his way through it. So let's do that one more time. So yeah, he's kind of set himself up, but doing this, now he's, instead of going, same riff, it's just, instead of going to this F and this riff in the A, you're going to be going this F, because you're in this E, and then this F. Just move this chord up one, that makes it F. And then you're going to do the same riff that you do just up here at the 12th. 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14. So. Instead of going to the D7 and the G, for the ending verse, he goes to, from F, C. You go back to the same one that we did in the first part, and then instead of going to D, G, you're gonna go back to F. So F, C, G, F, and then E. And he slides into this like this. 7, 9. G, B, I'm sorry, D, B, D string and B string. So, good night. If you have the whammy, put that on too. See when I'm putting on the whammy, like in the C, in the beginning part of the verse too, he puts that on a lot too. Okay, so let's go through that second part of the verse. So he does this little half step, and then you get to the second one, half step. After that one, you're gonna go. You should start doing this riff. Half step. Every time he does this riff too is different, but the way he gets into it is the same. So when you go half step, start right here. 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, and then you're gonna hold the 5 on that one, and then you're gonna go back to the 7 on the D. So half step. And that part is the same every single time. What he does after this in each chorus is different. So for this one, he doesn't really do much. He's holding back, so he just half step, Mississippi up, down, to kind of just does this little riff right there. Mississippi up, down, to half step, Mississippi up. You go uptown, toodaloo. So bing, 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 toodaloo. 7, 5 on the G, real quick before the F. And then you're gonna land in this F that we've been doing in the verse. So let's do that. This is baby, I see. C, G, same as the verse. C, F. Oh, I'm sorry. It's A minor right there. So F, W, O, C, G, I'm A minor. E. E7. He kind of throws E7 riffs in there. Let's see what he does in this one. Have a cup of rock and ride. Well, do you all southern skies? I'm on my way. to the 7 right before they go into the solo for Jerry. So, farewell to you, oh southern skies, I'm on my way. A minor right there. And then E. Then you're gonna, so you do the same thing I taught you in the first part of the verse. And then just drop it to the D note right there, right before, to emphasize the 7 into the A minor. So for that part, it's the same intro riff. It's just not so fast. The intro is it's just one strum on each. Sorry, my G falls out often. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop the B1. Drop the B1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same major 7, 7, 6 walk down, just on the B string. Just for the certain one. And then after that, you're going to go F, drop it to major 7 back to the 8 by lifting this up and barring. Do the same thing in the D minor, because the next chord's D minor. So yeah, it's the same little trick. Same little trick he does. It's alright. Falling out of tune there. Okay, so yeah, the F, D minor, same little trick, and then B, you can even do B7. The way he does this little box after in the E, so F, D minor, B right here at the 7th and 9th, minor 3rd and major 3rd trick, and then E, hit the top E and then go. So that sets you up for that little trick. Slide the D and the B up to the 9th from the 7th, back down to the 7th, and then put your pinky on the G string. So. So that's the first part of that. And then Jerry does the same chords, but the riffs that Bob does are a little bit different. So let's do that with it together. Do that one more time. Okay, so that's the first part, and then he's going to switch to this one. He goes, you can hear he doesn't have this. Switch to the where your index finger or your ring finger is starting to walk down on the D note. So the way to do that is just these three stay the same. Just walk down this note. So that's the. He does stay in this one for the whole first solo. He doesn't switch to this yet. He does in the second verse, but he stays in this. And the same little F, and then A minor. That A minor, D, and then G. And then that same little G7 riff into G that we do in the verses to come out of that A minor. So it's the second part of the solo. The F, A minor riff, and then the D7 riff, G riff. Now you're back in the C. So let's do that whole solo together. So to come out into this verse, just the C. This is another little different one that he does. Major third of sus4, little tinkle. Don't really put the sus4 on fully, just hammer on, hammer off a bunch. Kind of in this inversion that you were doing. He's really emphasizing this note on all three chords, on the E, F, and then the A. So it's kind of like sticking in these three inversions on the, and then F right here, and then A right here. You can either do or whichever one tickles your fancy. did an E for the during the solo. Now you're gonna do it in G in the verse. Right back into the C. Right there. So right there, he doesn't do the C fully like this after the. He doesn't go. He goes. Just emphasizes that. Bob does this a lot in all the chords. Siddle. In E. C. That's what we're doing. So he throws that in there real quick. And like I said, all these tricks, you don't have to do them directly through. I'm just kind of throwing out tricks that he does. I don't think he knows what he's doing either. He's just practiced it a bunch. He's practiced a bunch, and he's kind of just throwing it in as they come, you know. So you can kind of just take these licks and put them in your pocket whenever you want to take them out. You know, you don't have to play the third verse lick in the third verse. You could play that in the first verse, you know. And the solos are really all depending on what your lead guy's doing. So it's kind of just like linking up with what the lead guy's doing and then doing the verse, kind of just taking tricks out of your pocket and throwing them in as they fit, you know. So it's kind of just a basis. That little to start the verse. He hammers on this E and it emphasizes the B note. Before it was this, and before it was this. Now it's this. So he's emphasizing each different note on the E, you know. So, come into that verse, do that little C trick, and then the E. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So to come out of that verse, it's the same. So get yourself about a charge and seal that. A minor, E7, real quick before the A minor, and then, like I said, this part's the same. And then he goes. You hear him do that real quick. Very obscure and very soft and faint and tingy, but so you just bend up the B string just the littlest bit on the 7th, and then you just chromatically walk down. So do that walk down, and then hit this 5th on the B, 7th on the G, then back to the 5th on the B. Same middle, F, C, G. So he throws in a different E7 inversion right there. Instead of just doing E, he throws in a no. So this is a 4 fret stretch. Your ring finger and your pinky finger are on the same 12th. Your ring finger's on the D and your pinky finger's on the B on the 12th. And then your index finger's on the 9th on the G. Because this is the 7 note of this inversion. And then kind of combining this inversion and this inversion by doing the 7 note right here. So it's like a triad. So he throws that in real quick. On my way. Kind of emphasize they're going up, you know. Now he's down here. Okay, so he starts out the verse like I said, just, but he doesn't really do that arpeggio. It's just whammy. Same F trick, D minor trick. And then on the B, instead of just doing the major third, minor third to the major third, you're gonna add the sus4 in there too. And you're gonna emphasize the 7 on the E instead of going. You're gonna go after the B. So. So for the A minor, the only difference for that is when you do the same walk down, and then F, and then for the A minor, instead of going, you go, kind of end in this, and then this, and put the pinky on the 8th. It's like this one, but it's connecting. Kind of try to land in it. So. Kind of tough to do that, but I'll really just emphasize this note on the A minor. And the same little D, G. Just kind of like taking a break from doing. On this third verse, he's just like, all right, we're just gonna go through the chorus because we're about to go to the end jam. He doesn't really do too many licks. So the first 2 verses are the ones full of licks. So we'll just go through this one and it'll be stuff I already taught you. He emphasizes that 7 going right into it again. That riff right there is Bob too. Favorite one out of the 3 right there that he does in this section. Bend up the 5th or the 7th, and then put the 5th on set with your index finger. 5 7 7 5 7. Half step. There is where you place it. G. So the only difference is he does the E right there, E7, and then that E7 I told you right here, 4 fret stretch, and then the E right here, E7, 14 on the D, 16 on the G, 15 on the B. It's E7, the last E7 he can do up there, right before they go into the A. So he does all 3 inversions right there. 1, 2, 3. Whammy. So the gist of this one, he does a bunch of little licks in this, but the gist of this one, when you go to the A, sus4, major third, sus2, 1. D right here, sus4, 5. It's kind of the gist of what he does throughout this. He messes around with these notes too. Do this A too. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of that version. I might do an early 70s version because they're little different licks, but kind of the same gist. But thanks for watching, guys.